Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is a humanitarian figure who throughout his life worked to fight for justice and eliminate discrimination against minorities. His services are still remembered and greatly appreciated today, making him one of the foremost prominent figures. During his youth, Nelson Mandela was known as an activist for anti-apartheid or racial segregation between blacks and whites in South Africa. During his struggle for race politics in South Africa, he was imprisoned for approximately 27 years. Mandela and several other activists are considered by the government to have incited many people, which resulted in a massive strike. Although he often received justice for most of his life, Mandela's generosity in forgiving his enemies has served as an example for many around the world. Here is a collection of wise and inspirational Nelson Mandela motivational words. Who during his lifetime had a positive contribution to humanity and always fought for a better society. You will achieve more in this world through acts of compassion than you will through acts of retaliation. No one is born to hate another because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. I'm not a saint, unless you think of a saint as a sinner trying to be good. Lead from behind and let others believe they are in front. I learned that remembering fear, but having to overcome it. The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You will never have an impact on society if you don't change yourself. There's nothing like going back to where you've remained unchanged to find ways in which you yourself have changed. If you talk to someone in a language he understands, it will go into his head. If you talk to him in his language, it goes to the heart. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. A good head and a good heart are always a great combination. But when you add a literate tongue or pen, then you have something very special. Hatred is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemy. When a person is denied the right to live the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become a criminal. Don't judge me by my success. Judge me how many times I fall and get up again. I am an optimist by nature. Whether it comes from nature or upbringing, I can't say. I have come a long way to freedom. I have tried not to falter, I've made missteps along the way. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you must work with your enemy. Then, he becomes your partner. Peace is the greatest weapon for development that anyone can have. To be free is not just to untie one's bonds, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Troubleshooting charity work. This is an act of justice. Money won't create success, it's the freedom to create that will create success. I have cherished the ideals of a free and democratic society in which all people live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. I like friends who have an open mind because they will serve you to see problems from different perspectives. To be free is not just throwing one chain away, but to live in mutual respect and increase the freedom of others. It seems all that until it's proven. There is no easy road to freedom anywhere, and many of us must pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the top of the mountain of our desires. I've never really cared about personal gifts. One doesn't become a freedom fighter with the hope of winning an award. We owe it to our children, the most vulnerable citizens in any society, a life free from violence and fear. I hate discrimination and all its manifestos. I fought my whole life, I fight now, and until the end of my life. A person who robs others of freedom is a prisoner of hatred, he is locked behind bars and narrow-minded. I am not truly free when I take the freedom of others, just as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. Only free people can negotiate, prisoners can't make contracts. The key to being happy is to live life as if no one is watching and express yourself as if everyone is listening. From the experience of an extraordinary humanitarian catastrophe that lasted for so long, a society was born that makes all of humanity proud. I can only rest, because of the freedom to take responsibility, and I dare not linger, because my long journey is not over yet. There is no such thing as partial freedom. A child is born free. Everyone can stand on top of their situation and find success if they are dedicated and passionate about what they do. Politics can be with music. Music has political potential, but the purpose of freedom is to create it for others. I really value my own freedom, but I care more about yours.